What is going on, you guys? This is Erica's for the win, and I wanted to talk about Sekiro, From Software's new game. There's some new info, some new tidbits I wanted to go over because it's sounding pretty awesome. From what I'm hearing, what I'm reading on this article right here, it's sounding like it's going to be very interesting, and I want to see more, I want to know more. But let's go over these tidbits here on the article. So it says Sekiro, From Software's next game, subverts nearly everything we've come to expect from Dark Souls. From every system that From Software strips away, there is one that is completely new. So yeah, a little typo there. But yeah, so it seems like obviously they're not just ripping things out, they're going to replace it with something maybe better, or maybe something that makes more sense for the game. That way it doesn't feel completely just stripped away. You know what I mean? Like it's still going to be a complete experience. At least that's what I get from that little sentence there. So yeah, let's go right here to the biggest changes. It says Shadows Die Twice is not an RPG. There's no stats, no armor, no weapons to collect and equip. There's no classes to choose from, and no multiplayer of any kind. Also, you'll have no souls to reclaim after dying, and from the looks of it, no checkpoint bonfires to kindle. For the Dark Souls diehards, it says this list of have-nots might be terrifying. Oh no, we're terrified! But for every idea Sekiro strips away from the Dark Souls, a new one is introduced. So that's really cool to hear. I wasn't even thinking that, honestly, when I first heard or read that this was not going to be an action RPG, it wasn't going to be Souls-like. I didn't even get panicked about that, but it's still cool that they're reassuring us about that. Here just kind of talks about the story. Let's see, I'm just scrolling through. Right here it says describes it as an action-adventure game, making it sound more akin to Zelda, where exploration will yield new items that help you progress. See, that sounds cool to me. I mean, obviously I'm a Zelda fan, but even if it wasn't compared to Zelda, that was something I was guessing, like, okay, we're going to follow this guy's story. We're not going to equip new, weapons or armor and stuff like that. It's more so, this is who we are, and we're going to find things that will help us progress as far as maybe the story or opening doors, maybe. I mean, if they say Zelda, maybe that's a thing, or maybe you're finding keys or something like that to progress the game, but it's not necessarily like you're leveling up stats and stuff like that. You're not really leveling up this character, you're more so just progressing through the game. And that sounds awesome. I know some people are probably going to try and give me a hard time because it's not Souls-like, but I actually think this is great. I'm not against this at all, especially since the trailer looked amazing. I'm all for it, like whatever they want to do. If they want to go ahead and dabble in other genres and get away from the Souls formula a bit, that's fine. Like I assumed this would happen just because of how Miyazaki and the team would talk about their next game. Because I remember they would say, well, Dark Souls is over. We're trying to move away from that. They didn't really say it that way. I'm kind of paraphrasing. But you kind of got that vibe from them. Like they wanted to go step outside a bit and see what else they can do. And so this doesn't surprise me too much, but now that it's becoming a reality, it's sounding better and better, especially when you kind of compare it to something like Zelda, with that kind of formula. That is not something I'm going to complain about at all. I'm for it. I wanted to focus on another part of this if I could find it. They do talk about the combat. It says there's still HP, but the combat revolves around posture. When you attack an enemy, they'll easily block your attack, but will lose posture each time. Once lowered enough, they'll be open to a gory finishing move, but the same goes for you. That kind of reminds me a little bit of Neo, because stamina was that way. Every time you'd get hit, you would just lose stamina and you become weaker and you'd be open to a hit. So it's kind of like that. Even though Neo, I know that's Soulsborne, but that's the first thing that pops in my head as far as being attacked, blocking. It's like it's going to kind of wear you down. And I think that's cool. So yeah, there's a lot here about combat, which is cool. You guys can definitely read this. I'll put the link in the description. And it also talks about how you approach the combat, how you're not really head on with the enemies. You're more so using stealth and using the environment. which is pretty neat. So you can probably get, you know, above them, maybe jump down on them, or just sneak up on them, stuff like that. So that's pretty interesting. It says Sekiro is definitely a stealth game and grim as hell too. So yeah, more stealth. That's something different, right? Because, you know, when it comes to the Soulsborne and all of that, we more so just went head on. It wasn't like you could sneak around and they just wouldn't see you or something like that. There's times, yeah, you can just run by, but for the most part, you're just going like enemy to enemy, or you're running away. So to have more stealth is definitely a little different. And then here we go with boss battles, which of course I'm interested in. It says, look more challenging than ever. Near the end of the demo, we were ambushed by the corrupted monk, a terrifying large woman with a naginata? I don't know how to say that. True to Dark Souls, she came at us with an agile barrage of attacks that, with the help of the kanji characters appearing above our heads, could be predicted and dodged or blocked. So yeah, it seems like the boss fights kind of have that same spirit of like very difficult, very aggressive. That's going to be awesome. I can't wait to see the boss fights in this game. I mean, that's really what stands out for me when it comes to From Software, is like the challenge and the bosses. I'm always interested in what they're going to look like, how they're going to play, all of that. And then using these new moves and this weapon right here, the rope weapon, the grappling hook, that's going to be really cool, because I bet you can use that in just crazy ways, you know. Right here it says the blocks made combat feel more aggressive and fatal than Bloodborne's. So it could be even faster. Like it could, like right here it says it turns into a mesmerizing dance. I love that. I love when fights feel like it's a dance, like you're just going back and forth, you're moving so fluid with the boss, and it's just enjoyable to watch and play. This makes me very happy. You guys know I'm very much into boss fights, especially when it comes to From Software's games. This is awesome. This is sounding really cool. And then right here, of course, it talks about, you know, what happens when you die. That's a good question, right? I'm sure we all have that question. They say they weren't willing to explain it in depth, but there is an entirely new death system at play here. Instead of restarting at a checkpoint, when you die, you can revive yourself and immediately jump back into the combat. They actually showed that during the trailer. Remember that big enemy that slashed him with the sword and he went down? And then he was just able to get back up again. So they did show us that. Right here it says the crazy part, as soon as you die, your enemies will lose interest in you and go back to what they were doing. This turns death into an opportunity to surprise enemies by reviving when they don't expect it and getting in a few insta-kills. So that's interesting. Yeah, I don't know about that. That's going to be pretty cool, because like if you time it, maybe you could time it exactly when you revive. I don't know, like maybe they'll let you lay there for a little bit, and then once the other enemies, you know, just turn around and start leaving, then you go ahead and revive. That'd be pretty cool to use. That's a good tactic, especially if you're getting your butt whipped. You want to, you know, get back at them or whatever. Hardcore fans might balk at this system since it seems to make Sekiro much easier. Kateo said there was no limit to how many times you could revive, but they wouldn't clarify. Oh, so yeah, that might make it a little bit more easier. I wonder what's going to be the twist with this. There's got to be something, I'm thinking. They didn't really want to clarify and go in depth or whatever, but that's going to be weird to see. I need to see more of that. Like what is that about? But like I said, they did show that in the trailer. They did revive. Right here, a whole new world. You can see it's an expansive, interconnected world. That's something From Software does very well. Not clear how diverse it is. What else? Japanese village. It's certainly a more subtle look compared to Bloodborne's gothic aesthetic, but no less beautiful. Yeah, I mean, we figured that, obviously. It's Japan. It's probably going to be more like villages and things like that. And it's no less fantastical either. They use fantastical. While a good many enemies were typical soldiers, there was one weird giant who appeared in the trailer. Oh, that's probably that one. That was obviously into wrestling, considering his passion for pile driving. So yeah, there's gonna be like regular human beings, they're saying, but then there's gonna be weird like giants and creatures. And of course, at the end of the trailer, we saw that big snake, right? So there's gonna be different things. I think that's cool. I like a good mix. That's gonna be awesome. Okay, they mentioned the snake, saying it's going to be like a cat and mouse game. So again, I think they're saying the stealth stuff, like you're going to try and hide from that big snake. You're going to try and get through. It says right here, I get the sense that these encounters won't be like traditional boss fights, but are more like environmental puzzles. So yeah, you probably have to figure out, okay, how am I going to get across? There's this big old snake right here, and I can't fight it, or I don't want to fight it, so I have to figure out how to get through. I'm down with that. I think that's cool. This was kind of interesting right here. It says, there are moments where it feels hard to wrap my head around just how different Sekiro is from Software's other games. And there's moments where it feels the exact same. I love that the animation for opening grand weighty doors hasn't changed in nearly a decade. It's little details like these that pay homage to Sekiro's lineage. See, this paragraph makes me even more happy because it's saying there's so many different things, but there's moments where it feels the same. So it feels familiar. Like they said, when you're opening the weighty doors, it's like when you're going into a new area, you open that big door. That's so From Software, you know? And they say it's little details like that that pays homage to the lineage. That is awesome. I'm really liking what I'm hearing from this article. It's sounding really good. And like I said before, people are going to probably try and come at me like, see, Erica, I told you it's not going to be Souls. I'm just going to direct those people to this video and let them know I'm happy about this. I think it sounds awesome. You know, From Software, if they want to take a step away from that traditional Souls formula where it's Souls to the core, I'm for it, because I know, you know, they're going to make this game great. I trust From Software. I feel like they're one of the few developers that I can feel that way about them, where I feel like they're going to put something out good. Even if it's different, I think I'll like the differences. And from what I'm seeing in the trailer and reading from this article, it's sounding really good. I'm having a hard time even finding something I don't like or something that has me worried, especially when the developers are coming out and saying that, you know, there's still going to be that challenge and there's still going to be something to replace the stuff we're taking out. And they're kind of giving us this reassurance, like you're still going to have that reward system that you're so used to. And like the guy in the article is saying, you know, you're still going to have that feeling, even though it's very different. You still have moments where you have that feeling. Not that we have to, but it's just kind of cool to feel like, okay, this is a From Software game. You know, it's more so that. It's not like, oh, it has to be Souls, but it's more so like, yeah, I want to feel like this is a From Software game. That's, I think, where I lie on the whole thing. But it's sounding great, you guys. Let me know what you think about these changes. How are you feeling about it not being RPG and not being that, you know, traditional Souls formula and being more of a action adventure, being compared to Zelda, you know, by this writer here. That's interesting. It's cool. I think, you know, it's gonna be more you know, a little bit more exploration, puzzles, environmental stuff going on. It's gonna be interesting to see. I can't wait to play this game. It's definitely one of my most anticipated. That's no surprise, I'm sure. But yeah, just this article makes me happy. Let me know what you guys think, all right? Thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you guys in my next video. Peace.